So it was only a week ago we went round the island, the French Island yacht race, and we thought to ourselves maybe it was a good idea to actually go to the island and have a look. So I grabbed a local yacht club member, said to him, what do you think? We'll go and have a look at French Island. He said, heck yeah, why not? We grabbed our bikes, we put them on the boat and sailed over to Tankerton Jetty. If you get on Tankerton Jetty, you'll see a fine collection of automobiles, very few of them registered.
Through the far side that
and if you're really lucky, you might run into somebody who says to you, hey, what do you reckon? We'll go for a tour around the island. I'll take you. And we were lucky enough that that actually happened, and we ran into this fine bloke.
Getting one of the boats to meet you there, so bring one group on the boat, on the vehicle, and switch over or something.
Is there any other jetties on the island other than Tankerton, or is it?
There are. Probably the other main one is the barge landing, which heads to Coronella, and that's where the vehicles come across.
Okay, yeah. Right.
Yeah, so it's not much of a jetty though, to be honest. It's pretty much the barge just lands on the sand.
Yeah.
And cars just drive up.
Oh, really? So they can drive straight up on the beach?
Pretty much. I think the barge just goes up at high tide, lands, and they just go up a few rocks up the road, but it only operates at high tide for that reason, so it's not really a long jetty at all.
Yeah.
Mostly all jetties are basically unusable. So there were ones up where the Fairhaven campground is. There's one down at Long Point. Was one there. It was the first one, which is where the winery is. Quite a few around the island. So in the old days, it was too difficult to even get around. It'd be terrible boggy tracks with old cart. So there's hence why they had so many different jetties around the island. Made a lot more sense to just load off directly. And because of that reason, it's so hard to get things across. The only real farming here is beef cattle and lambs.
Right.
And the rest of the fields are growing hay to feed them pretty much. There's not really any other industry that I'm aware of.
So does the hay go offshore? Do they
as far as I know, it all stays here.
So they just feed the animals with it?
To take a truck return on the barge is about $500.
Wow, really?
So even to get the cattle off, they lose more than a third of their costs just getting them off the island.
And is that barge going daily, or is that just on call?
Most days except for Tuesdays, on call. You got to call them up, and just at high tide.
Yeah.
But you could take a vehicle around, spend a few days.
Really?
You could still do it.
So if you pay $500 for a truck, what do you pay for a car?
It's about 120.
Oh, is it?
It's a lot better.
Oh, that's
a lot
not bad.
better for a car.
So you bring a camper van over, maybe, or?
Yeah, exactly. For something like that, it's reasonable.
Yeah.
But trucks from this size upwards, it's a lot more expensive.
Yep.
Before you know it, we were clambering on board and heading down the road in this fine beast, Push Bikes Incorporated. Adam was the tour director, took us up to the local school for a look. Before you knew it, we found ourselves a koala. The local school had at one point a population of 1 child. It didn't seem to matter where we wanted to go. Adam was more than happy to take us there. We even came across a prison at one stage, no longer populated. If you carry on up through the island the way we were going, you get to a point which is opposite Coronella. The beach was sitting at low tide, which was fantastic. It revealed what used to be a jetty that faced out towards Coronella. And you could see the remnants of bolts and nails and all sorts of bits and pieces from that jetty. I'd like to point out at this stage, I've got no idea whose dog that was. And I'm not Humpty Dumpty. This is the barge that they were talking about earlier. They took fire trucks over on that barge at one point when they had fires on the island. And here's a fantastic piece of machinery that toured us around. A good day, a couple of hours, and finished up on the island's only shop, the general store. Really good trip, well worth the effort, not far from Melbourne at all. If you get an opportunity to do so, catch the ferry, goes over from Stony Point, makes its way over to the jetty where we landed, and it gives you the option of whatever you want to do. It's roughly around 3k's to the general store. If you're really lucky, you'll run into somebody by the name of Adam, who's keen to take you for a tour, at a cost of course, but it's well worth the effort. Roughly around 2 hours in that tour. Had a cracking good time with a beautiful sail back to Juanita afterwards.